Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Had to go get my Chris Barfield shirt, Barfield Financial. Had to get my speeding ticket paid this morning from Greene County, Tennessee, because I got my first speeding ticket in, man, since Maddie was a baby. So Maddie was not even a year old, probably 3 to 4 months old in 2000. I hadn't had a speeding ticket in 22 years. But we went to go see my mom for up in Virginia. We're coming back. I got a speeding ticket in Greene County, Tennessee. Those rat finks. Ay, ay, ay. And are we on Rumble? Hey, what's up? Hey, Talk to Ryder. Are we on Rumble yet or what? Yeah, it says live stream begins at 8 p.m. There we go. Sweet. Right on, man. Talk to Ryder. Hey, man. Hey, amigo. Why aren't you watching the national championship? We were watching. We got it on back there. Liam's watching it, Charlotte. Saw my man Stetson Bennett get a touchdown, and I don't really care that much. As funny as we texted Chloe, said you stoked for the game tonight. She goes, I haven't been able to sleep for weeks thinking about the game. She could care less. I said, hey, you gonna root for you the other day? I said, you excited for old Stetson Bennett? She goes, who's that? Chloe doesn't care. It's funny, man. Maddie and her boyfriend went to a Georgia Tech game against Virginia Tech up in Virginia, a couple weeks ago, and Chloe, she's got tickets to the UGA game. She could care less. Excuse me. It's funny. Anyway, I got a chuckle at that. Chloe's like, Stetson Bennett. I don't know who that is. That's a quarterback, man. Oh my goodness. Hey, right on. So it used to say how many people are on Rumble, but I can't see it anymore. It's weird how many people are. Doesn't show me how many people are on Rumble. It's strange. Used to show that. All right. Hey, Vaughn. I got a chance to meet a couple of your folks there, Vaughn. They said, don't tell Vaughn, but we don't like him anymore. So, because you referred them to me. They said, yeah, Vaughn, don't tell him, but we're crossing him off the will because he introduced us to Josh. All right. So whatever you guys, what do you guys want to talk about? So Marie had a question on Marie thinks, so yeah, Marie had emailed me asking about, locking up. She don't want to lock up money for too long simply because she thinks the rates are going up. I disagree. But if Marie is right, you don't want to lock money up for more than a year or so. Just FYI. I don't think rates are going up. I think they're going to come down. Yeah, Vaughn says best sister and brother-in-law one can have. Right on. Yeah, I got you. That's fantastic, Vaughn. That's good stuff, man. What was I getting ready to say? Nah, so if you think rates are going up, Tiffin shutting down. I don't know what that means. Tiffin. Hey, Bruce. Brad. Yeah, I don't. I'm just gonna do Mondays, man. I'm so if and then I'll probably take these down 7 on Rumble. Okay, that's not so bad. We'll get used to it. Anyway, I don't think rates are going up. Oh man, I don't have my reading glasses. Dang, I gotta go get my reading glasses. Hold on just a second. Don't forget Barfield Financial. Chris Barfield kicks ass. So what are you thinking about? Okay, what do you think about that Melvano? I don't. Is there? What are you making? Put in the note. I'm gonna go get my glasses. I'll be right back. What do you guys? Pick 6. All right, so apparently it's 10-0 Georgia now. I think the Georgia 12-point favorites. So Hey, Jim, right on. I'm back. I'm back in the saddle again. Yeah, I'm not sure what my man Melvando was talking about when they're shut. I mean, I get it. They're shutting down production. I don't get it. I don't get what I don't know what that necessarily means, though. I mean, I have a sneaky suspicion. I'd like to hear more insight on that. All right. My man Chris, I'm considering trying to roll my 401k to an IRA. I'm considering roll my 401k to an IRA. Remember to put, if you got a question, actually put it in caps just in case the chat gets long. All right, cool. Roll my 401k and IRA and continue deposits into 401k, but I still work at the employer. This is an attempt to reduce my 401k fees. All right. Hey, Joe. Okay, paso. All RV and boat companies are taking a hit when we're that's interesting. Huh. It's top end. Are they closing? Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a sign, Marie, of interest rates going to be going up. I'm telling you. For a short term or 3 months, money market. Yeah, money market Vanguard right now is paying 4.2. That's what my man Talk to Ryder says on Rumble. Yeah, I that's interesting. I'll share with you a story. This guy emailed me today. I'm obviously not going to say his name or anything. But it was interesting. So this guy or lady, it's got to be a dude. This guy writes like a dude, but it's got to be a dude. Anyway, he says his company was initially purchased by another company, and then just within a few months, that company. So basically, their owners were getting older, and they wanted to cash out to take the equity out. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we were initially purchased by one company, and then within just a couple months, are purchased by another company who installed their puppet as a CEO. I pretty much knew everything I needed to know about him when he had his pronouns in his LinkedIn profile. Jeez, man. I would do a video on your company's in world of hurt if the CEO's got his pronouns in his LinkedIn profile, but I'm sure YouTube would ban me for that. Just what the hell? It's just idiotic. Anyway, so they laid off in a stroke of brilliance. They cut most of the senior. I'm not going to say what kind of line of work. They cut most of the senior producers. My man was one of them, and then but then they wanted them to come back as 1099 employees. I mean, I was telling my wife. I said, this is what happens when I don't know if there's a venture capital. I don't know, but these venture capital firms, what they'll do. Seems like now Rumble's a little bit behind. All right. What these venture capital companies will do is they'll clean up the labor because labor is the biggest cost of basically cost of goods sold. The labor is the biggest cost by far. And if they clean off the labor, just go to 1099, they can show a balance sheet or an income statement that looks a lot more profitable when they bring it back to the public. It's such a freaking scam, dudes. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is, some guy emailed me the other day. I can't remember, but there isn't any, I cannot stress this enough. There isn't anyone coming up behind to do any of these jobs. I don't care if it's a lobsterman in Maine. I don't care if it's freaking HVAC. I don't care if it's software engineering. It's not just blue collar work. There isn't anyone coming up behind. And this idea that it's all going to be, yeah, I agree. Can't be the liquidity of a money market. I wish people would. Well, I don't know what I wish they would. There's nothing I wish you would, but I'm my man Warner took Charlotte and I to dinner last night. All right, and he's in town. Nice guy, young guy, but he's kicking butt. He's got 4 kids and all that. And same thing. You were just going through like his. Let's just put it this way: corporate public-private partnership has been corrupted by the wokeness, the pronouns, the DEI. That's what my man says here too, is that while they let off all these senior producers, they still have a place in the corporate for a DEI class. This is not a this is not a. I don't know. I just this is not likely to be growth in the future. Growth is this is why they have stakeholder capitalism and whatnot. Growth is not the concern. It's just not, man. And that look, it's just not. It's going to be utility-ish, government regulation heavily, government private partnership ownership. And these things aren't growth oriented. They're just not. That means that customer service can be crappy for sure. I mean, just the days of entrepreneurship, like bringing on, obviously Amazon and a lot of these companies, Google had government funding. I mean, again, I think Twitter, for instance, I guarantee was a government bringing on Twitter, 100%. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, right. Nucor, stay right there. Jim from Nucor, I say. They can't find it. They can't. That's right. And they're offering 100% paid, where they pay you to learn, not just paid interest. It's like they pay you. There's no one. There's no one coming up to do this stuff. Oh, but China is in a death trap, like in terms of population proportions. What are you talking about, man? It's weird. China's like 50 years behind South Korea. No one's worried about South Korea taking over Japan because their populations are dying off. Well, Russia, you crazy? Russia aborted 2/3 of every 3 babies, man. Looks like I'm on Rumble. Is Rumble going okay? I just NUE has a great PE ratio. Well, remember, the earnings part of the price to earnings ratio, the earnings is hindsight. So the question is, will it continue? Yeah, it's new core. There you go. Yeah, but whoa, look, Jim, what happened with that, man? Dude, that's nuts. It went from freaking 40 to 140 in 2 years' time. What the hell? It still has a 4. That's something's wrong here, man. I mean, it's trading, 40 to 50 for years and years and years, and all of a sudden it just went shoops. Yeah, something's wrong with that. Nucor raises steel sheet prices by $50. ST. I don't know what ST stands for. Back in black. I hit the stack. Yeah. So anyway, so now what's going to happen is you're going to see people cutting back, businesses cutting back, not just because of the recession. It's a permanent. It's like not a permanent. It's like Japan. Not a permanent recession, just permanent. Rumble's okay. Started out as a utility guy at around 60K. We never slowed down. I don't get what I'm not following. What do you mean, Jim? You never slow like Nucor, like for steel, never slow down. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not even worried about it. I just I think the idea though that interest rates are going to have to spike to deal with inflation that's no longer a concern. And I mean, look, I get it, but from a macroeconomics perspective, it's just not. Part two, they just don't have the employees coming in, and as such, there's going to be labor shortages. Labor will be raised, and everyone and their mom says they all think labor is a cause of inflation. It's just not. It's freaking idiotic, and this is their way. So if you're an employee, you can demand a hell of a lot of money. If you're in a crap old job, I'd be freaking demanding some pay raises. There isn't anyone to replace you. You know what I'm saying? And I know, well, they're going to cut back on hiring. They still need product to push out the door. They still need product. And they're only going to get product by people doing the product. No, Georgia got to follow a field goal. I thought it was 10-0 Georgia. And did TCU get a touchdown? Oh, we never slowed down during pandemic. Yeah, I was talking to a guy the other day. My man Warner. He's in a business that very essential. They never slow down. I was like, I just cracked because you would not. I mean, if I'm not going to say anything more about the business, but let's put it this way: the business is essential. We all know it's essential, but the idea that the government is like, well, some business aren't essential, but this one is. Yeah, you freaking scumbags. I'm so freaking sick of these people. I'm over it, man. I'm just like, and I'm over it in a funny way. I just don't care anymore. I mean, so some guy was arguing with me. Let me just share this with you. This is actually kind of funny. Don't Einstein me, bro. What that means is don't plagiarize me, bro, because Einstein was a plagiarist. How dare you, Josh? I literally don't care. I'm done. I'm done dancing around with people anymore. I know I'm trying to be nicer in the ether, bring nicer positivity, but if people are acting in ways that encourage evil, is just dancing around them, is that, I don't know. If people are acting in such a way, 10-7 Georgia, right on. Well, that's 10-7 Georgia is better than 14-7 Georgia if you're a TCU fan. I just really don't care. The only reason I'd hope TCU would win is because that way the SEC can't get another championship. But now they've got a real playoff coming in 2 years. I don't. It doesn't matter because SEC, as I've argued for years and years and years, is overrated. 100% overrated. They always have a couple good teams, but everything else is pedestrian. 100%. And you can look at their bowl records. I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago they were 10-2. And that was pretty good, but but they're always about 5-5, 5-6, 6-5. Sometimes 8-3, but they're never anything fancy, good time rock and roll. On occasion, like a couple of years ago, they were good. But this year, they're pedestrian, like 7-5, something like that. Whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, the point being was there's no reason the SEC should have had 2 teams in the playoff every single year. That's nuts. When they play in a conference that's just not as good as what people think. I was listening to this guy today, Jaron. He said he thought he's read a study that 75% of the people are just go with consensus, no matter what consensus is, something like that. Maybe even 77% of the people. And I think that's right. I think about 80% of the population just go along to get along. And that's I find that frightening, and there's not much you can do about it, man. But 80% of the population is whatever else doing, I'll do. And anyway, the point being, when it comes to college football, is everyone else just went along because some guy at ESPN said the SEC is so good. Why are they so good? Because they won all these championships. All right, so the AFC East is the best conference in the NFL because the Patriots won all these championships and went to other Super Bowls. That didn't make any sense. So that's the same thing with the SEC. You never say that the AFC East is the best conference or the best division in NFL just because the Patriots are always in the Super Bowl. That's stupid. But that's what they said about the SEC. I'm like, that's just not. It's like sports writers are more liberal and stupider than political writers. It's amazing to me how liberal and dumb a sports writer is. They're just not bright people. They're not. They're essentially a bunch of white guys who have envy of the black athletes is what it is. And they're like, oh my goodness. And they said, just pay attention to me, because they're all envious of the black athletes. It's just there's no two ways around it. I've had conversations with sports writers in the past that just short, heavy-set, unathletic white guys who have envy of a black athlete, that the black athlete has the ability to run faster, stronger on the field or on the court than this guy can. And the guy just wants desperately, because a lot of times they're geeks, to be like seen as a cool kid. He can't do it on the floor, so he'll do it on through writing, and he'll adopt, because inherently sports writers are racist. Liberal whites are racist inherently. They think, well, blacks are liberal, thus I'll adopt a liberal line so blacks will like me better. It's embarrassing, man. And I just you look at these guys like, because they're all rich kids too, because the only way you can be a sports writer if you got some other source of income, because it doesn't pay anything. You know what I'm saying? So all these rich white kids, they mimic, they'll probably go to elite schools and whatnot. They mimic what they think they need to do, and they'll mimic Tony Kornheiser, for instance, who's a big lib. And it's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. And so anyway, long story short, that's the how we got the SEC is so great. And I've been arguing for years and years and years. This idiotic, man. But my side wins finally. It only took, since Georgia Tech and Colorado tied for the national championship in 1990, I think it was. it's only taken, what is that, 33, 34 years to have a freaking, can you talk about your books, what you have done? Yeah, you get it all on Amazon, man, Jim, all on Amazon. So my books, I appreciate the encouragement for a sales pitch. I'm having a hard time with this other book, man. It's just, there's so much information I've put in there. It doesn't flow. And I'm halfway, I freaking love it. I love my work on that book. It's not flowing like I'd hoped. And I'm just like at the point now, it's like, I don't want to take anything out because there's so much time and energy in there and there's so much good. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. I love it. I just like, but it's just not, oh man, let me hold on a second. Kill the retirement spending smile. So we'll destroy that. This is the one right here. Models behaving badly. All right, let me, I'm just going to show some of his book here because we're in PI. What's PI? Where are all these places? Oh, Philippines. Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. Chris says it wouldn't be terrible if we became like Japan. I kind of agree with that actually. Who we talk about? Oh, Philippines. I don't think the Philippines is gonna be the next Asian tiger. Everyone there, and I've never been there, but I've followed people on YouTube that said they all just capitulate. They all just follow. Philippines is heavily Catholic, and we know the Catholic, you have to bow down before the stupid Pope, and they just fall. Like there's no one out there's no other country that's got the guts that we have in the United States, the entrepreneurship to go out and get them and stuff. And we're losing that as our aged population dies off, and the people coming up behind them are all jabbed up with who knows what the hell's going on in their body, and just brainwashing, and this thing right here. This thing right here is a sickness on society. Some guy I was talking to the other day was working with a guy, and he the job should take an hour, but it took him 3 because every 5 minutes he'd be on his phone doing this when he's supposed to be doing that. It's like he's like every 5 minutes, all right. I was like, and he's like, this is an addiction, and look, we all fall for it. I was just talking to my wife, and she's and I could tell she wasn't engaged in the conversation because she's too heavy on reading on her phone. Now she is not, she wasn't ignoring me, but she can't. When she's focused on something, she's focused on something. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to break her of that focus. For me, I got my ADHD stuff. I'm just all over the place. She, on the other hand, is not like that. But the facts were, she was on her phone. I was like, hey, whatever. I don't know what I asked her. Do you want $1 million? You know what I'm saying? And I could tell she, oh, okay. I said, oh yeah, you're not listening to me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you said that'd be terrible if we came like Japan. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Where did I see? Man, do I get dyslexia too? Because I could have sworn I said that wouldn't be terrible. That's nuts. I don't think Pakistan. Maybe India. Remember, India is a hodgepodge of a bunch of different tribes and cultures and stuff. It's the more Indian people I meet, the more I realize how unique each part of India is. It's actually pretty interesting, frankly. If you want to do some study, I haven't done much, but we got tons of Indians running around here, and I know a bunch of Indians. They're a unique group of people. I'm a fan by and large, but they're definitely a unique group of people, and they're interesting as all can be. But there's no like uniform or monolithic Indian, if that makes sense. And I don't know I don't know how that plays out in the future. I don't know. I just think that the days of high growth are gone. I do, and as such, I think the heaviness on bond weighting makes sense, and certificates of deposit and fixed annuities. All right. Like to hear all the fear about markets 2023. I think it'd be a good year to buy into and ride the market up with bonds. Yeah, My pronouns are obvious. Yeah, I wouldn't do 30-day CDs, man. I mean, I wouldn't be doing that. I don't know. Maybe I would. Just because the Fed funds rate is so high. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Well, it's a very unique. I mean, literally, we've never been where we are right now in terms of the inverted curve being so inverted. It's nuts. And they're going to have to really lower quickly and drastically to get the short end interest rates to be in line with the yield curve. I don't expect them to do that anytime soon because then they'd be saying, "Oh, we raised too much." And the one thing the Fed does not want to admit is that they made a mistake. Yeah, there's tons of dude. There's some good-looking ladies in the Philippines, man. That's a fact. There's no lie there. I mean, just man. I mean, there's some good-looking ladies, Filipino ladies. Oh my goodness. I've never been there. I will never go to the Philippines, but I've known some guys who date Philippine chicks. I've seen some like, damn, those some freaking smoking hot ladies. And for the ladies here offended by that, I'm sorry, but I am a guy, dude. And the last thing I think is, last thing that I ever want to say is that guy's good looking. I mean, I can say he's good looking, but I'm not attracted to men at all. I'm pure blood, good old fashioned American red blooded man, and good looking women fine by me, man. That doesn't mean bad looking women aren't fine by me, but I'm just a dude, And why do you think I married my wife? Why do you think? Well, wait, I married her because of her brains, not because of her looks. I gave her an SAT test before I proposed to her. I said, look, I don't care about your looks, Shar. I just got to make sure you got brains. And she passed with flying covers. Um, but how dare you talk to Ryder? Comment on the good-looking ladies in Philippines. How dare you? Who was it? Was it Maddie? She was like in Italy or something like that, and she goes, maybe it was Poland. She said the hottest chicks in Europe and Poland or something. I can't remember, but she goes, but all the guys in Italy or Spain are incredibly good looking. Never been to Italy, never been to Spain. We'll never go to any of these places. Never been to Poland. We'll never go to Poland. I can't remember if she said Poland or something like that or Croatia. I forgot, but she said, yeah, best looking girls are in Eastern Europe. Did she say that? But I know it's either Italy or Spain where the best looking men were. That's okay. Make sure Charlotte doesn't go there then. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. When I lived in San Antonio, man, there's this like, Texican population down there with these like half American, half Mexican ladies. You worked on a San Antonio campus. Oh my goodness. Because San Antonio, USA campus in San Antonio is freaking huge. And half the city of San Antonio works at USA. And man, just so many gorgeous ladies. And you're like, holy, because they're Spanish, you know what I'm saying? Mexican, with some of them are American with Mexican culture, but oh my goodness, gorgeous. Oh, it makes me think of there's a song, Waylon Jennings, did he do it? A bunch of songs about Mexican ladies. I'm drawing a blank now. I think even John Prine did a song about a Mexican lady. I think he did, Senorita. Some good looking ladies. I'm sure Wisconsin, those Swedish areas have a lot of good looking ladies. Those places, Minnesota, very pale skinned blondies, I imagine. I always thought California had the hottest chicks because, I was born in Maine. I said, all these people are tan and blonde and, skinny and all that. I go out there, I was like, oh, no, it wasn't like that at all. I was surprised. I said, oh, man, California's got all these surfer girls with blonde and tan and freaking, because literally, so what happened is I'm growing up in Maine and we have football on. And, in Maine in the wintertime, it get dark like 4:30. So then they show the late game that's in, Los Angeles or San Francisco or something like that. And all these people out there in shorts and T-shirts and stuff and all tan, in the middle of wintertime because California doesn't get cold like it does on the East Coast. Who knew? I was like, man, what the hell? You see all these freaking ladies out there, blonde hair, you know what I'm saying, tan. You're like, and Maine, we're all freaking pale like Casper the Ghost, all freaking Dracula-like, basically getting in our freaking coffins until the winter's over, hibernating, you know what I'm saying? And you're like looking at the TV when the Broncos are playing the Los Angeles Raiders, you're like, crazy. And then I went out there, I was like, man, that's not Oh man, that wasn't like that at all. Not in the least. Yes, Midwestern women by and large are well to understand. That's okay by me. Actually, it's funny. Charlotte was going through the airport not too long ago, and for some reason they think Charlotte's Spanish is weird. Like Spanish, like Latin or something. Because every now and again, people speak Spanish to her, and she's not like when she was younger, she'd get tan and stuff. Now she's not even tan, but even at the airport, going through Dallas or going through Atlanta, going to Dallas, some clown at the TSA wasn't in Spanish started saying no bueno or no, which started talking to her in Spanish. They're like dos, like thinking Charlotte couldn't understand English. It's like, dude, Charlotte's parents spoke Chinese. You freaking fool. As an FYI, the going through Atlanta airport, if I were the mayor of Atlanta, I would freaking fire all those clowns at TSA and say, look, you give Atlanta a bad reputation. Atlanta airport makes Boston look very politeful and friendly. You know what I'm saying? You go to Boston airport, they're like, they're hugging, they're not literally hugging you, but they're like friendly, they're nice, they're polite. You go to Atlanta, they're like freaking punch you in the face. It's crazy. It's like you're in a cattle car. Nuts. Well, there we go. All the Filipino guys are coming in here. I gotta wait. What's a carpin? I know what a carpin is. And oh, dude, you kidding me? Oh, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, prayers, man. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray for people who have passed. We know they're in a better place. We know that, but it's still sad for the people left behind, especially for sudden collapse where they couldn't prepare. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. We pray for people who are left here, having lost loved ones. We're all gonna. It's gonna happen to us all. We know this, but Lord, uh, we just pray. Thank you for the time we've had on this temporal plane of earth, but it's still sad. It's still sad. We just pray for strength for those left behind. They find comfort in your glory. We pray in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. I get some water. I'll be right back. I got hold on a sec. Oy. Check the score too. What score they? Georgia. All right. Yeah, it sucks, man. That breaks my heart. Yeah, California girls, Jim. Exactly. California girls. I forgot how that went. That kills me. That's. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Ugh. All right, so anyway, going back to my man Jim. So I got like 4 books, 4 or 5. These aren't really. These are more almost like longer, like pamphlets almost. I mean, this is only 67 pages. Nothing fancy. I mean, so that's a tax bomb in your retirement. I think they're all free on Kindle Unlimited. You don't want this stuff on electronic though. You want the hard copy. I mean, it's a paperback, but you want the hard copy, for your reference. This is my favorite book I've done so far. You Can Retire on Social Security. I love this book. Other than the book I'm going to be putting out here shortly. This is my best effort. Now, this is a great book. Don't get me wrong. I put it. I mean, there's tons of tables in there. I put a lot into it. This, though, I liked because I took on a lot of the fear mongering, if that makes sense. And I very much enjoyed writing this and smashing the freaking fear mongers. Retiring Wellington is a good book. Good book. I liked it. I own Wellington, my biggest holding by far. I like taking on this doesn't challenge the orthodox or anything. Neither does a tax bomb. Well, the tax bomb in some way does, because I think a lot of people don't recognize how Social Security is taxed and all that. But this is just a straight cut to the chase book. And the next one I do will be on the Wellington Fund, which I'll do the Wellesley, which I'm going to do another one on that because I think Wellesley is going to be worth. Am I rolling here? Looks like my. But I mean, this was an easier book to do, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. I'm glad I have it. I just wish that I don't wish anything. I just it was an easier book to do. It was just pretty cut and straight forward. This is my first book. This was more of a personal memoir to younger people to recognize that just don't listen again the orthodox, because there are other ways to do this. Like I talk about, it's okay to get a variable rate loan. So I had for 5 years, I had 3.5, 3.25 as a fixed rate on my variable rate. All right, my variable rate now for the next 5 years is going to be 5.25. So it went up, but for the first 5 years, at 3.25. So for the next 5 years, that's a 5.25, which is about 1.5 below what I could get on 30-year right now. You see what I'm saying? So my rate is still low. The only difference is if I would have refinanced a year and a half ago, I could have got it lower. But I wasn't paying $25,000 to refinance. I just was not going to do that into a fixed rate. I mean, $25,000 is the equivalent of 6 mortgage payments or something like that. I wasn't going to pay a half year's of mortgage just so I could refinance at a low rate. I was getting 3.25. I didn't expect the rates to go up as high as they did. It worked against me when all said and done. But the facts are I still got 5.25, because when I did the 5 and 5 year ARM, it can only go up. The max can go up is by 2 percentage points in any one thing, and the max can ever go up as I think it's 3 over the course of the whole loan. So the max I'll ever pay, I think, is 6.25. So I can't remember. But anyway, I can't remember what it is. No, I think it can go up 2% every 5 years to the max at 5%. That's what it was. Yeah. So the max can ever go up is to 8.25. And I just, and I'll be done. My vote would be done by the 5 years. So the next 5 years, I'm paying at 5.25, but I'm paying a hell of a lot less because I paid so much down the principal the last couple of years, if that makes sense. Because people like you, being here. I mean, I make money off this stuff. Yeah, Rumble acting up. Is it? Yeah. Oh man, that sucks, man. Yeah. I just like Wellington. Advantage of Wellington relative to. I am very bullish on annuities. I mean, fixed annuities, yes, 100%. Yeah, Prairie Mark, don't shut up, dude. What are you talking about? Why are you saying that, man? Yeah. Well, I like fixed annuities. I like income annuities if the payout's above 6% right now. 25,000 to refinance a $450,000 home. My home is worth hell of a lot more than that now, Sergio. It's nuts. I couldn't afford this house. If you were my realtor to show me this house, I said I can't afford this thing. Crazy. We bought it in 2013. So basically, what happened in our neighborhood was this was going to be like a fancy schmancy good time rock and roll golf place, because back in the mid 2000s, we weren't even here in Atlanta. They were going to build all these fancy schmancy good time rock and roll golf courses and whatnot, like they're doing. And I hope I will do a reverse mortgage, Jim, just not in this house. We won't need this house when the kids are out. Now we're down to 2. You know what I'm saying? So just me, Charlotte, and the 2 boys. And Cat, right now it's we got 2.5 years with Cav, and then 3.5 years with Liam. After that, it's just us and the dogs. And the dogs, I love them, but they don't need a big fat house. Anyway, so what happened was the house, the model house was for sale. That was too high for us. because the model house has all the upgrades, you know what I'm saying? And then they had this house up here that went for like 440 back in 2012. And that's like at the top, it's like on the top of the hill, you know what I'm saying? That's like it sits above everybody, if that makes sense. It's a nice house, flat backyard. I mean, but it went for 440 in 2012. But what happened was the whole community was going to be like some fancy schmancy gated golf course and all this stuff, and they just went under. The builder went under, so it sat empty for 8 years. No, I guess 6 years. So a builder acquired the land probably for friggin' dime on the dollar, and they started putting up not custom homes, but like what they call it's like 5 different models you could choose, something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, there's only 21 houses in the neighborhood. Anyway, so they bought first. They bought at the very bottom, these guys, and they moved up from Sandy Springs. And then this house we were the second, I think, or third. I can't remember. But anyway, this house, the model house, 2 houses down, we had come when we were looking for houses, and it was just, it was outside of we couldn't afford it. This house went for, we sold our house in New Jersey for $520, and this house went for $550 or something like that. And my grandma had just died, and so I got an inheritance where I put all on the down payment on this house, like $100,000, I think. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so we had like $100,000 plus we made a little bit of money on the New Jersey house, but not much. So I think we put like $150 down on this house. I think we paid $550 for it, so I had a $400,000 mortgage, something like that. Seems like that mortgage is too low. Maybe I can't remember, but it's between 4 and 50. Yeah, I think it's about 400 to 450. Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, either way, that's what we had, and something like that. And so then they they finished up the neighborhood within a year and a half time, and now I look on thing, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, you could. That's why I don't understand these people. I get these young folks, like, how the hell do you afford these houses, man? I mean, the prices are through the roof. And I don't golf. I'm not a golf fan, at least. I know I got a lot of clients who are golfers. Don't take this wrong, guys. A pet peeve of mine is seeing grass golf courses in the desert. I hate that with a passion. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate golf courses in Phoenix. It drives me insane. Such a waste of water. We're not wasting water. I know the water evaporates. I get all that. However, you are not you, Jim, or anyone else who golfs. No one else is. Hey, Alonzo, it's going well, man. It's going well. No one else is. You're not. The water doesn't go away. I mean, I get all that. Trust me, but the humidity that is added to the watering of the grass in the desert is not good. This is man-made climate change, by the way. There's all these people say climate change. Man-made climate change is true. It's kind of like the difference between macro and micro evolution, macro and micro economics. There is some micro man-made climate change. That's a fact. Idiots freaking doing stupid stuff they shouldn't be doing in the native lands of these places. It's dumb, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think we've gotten so used to just industrial everything. Yeah, let me just share with you something here. I'm freaking going off a tangent. My wife said, "Do people actually follow your YouTube channel?" I said, "Some people get mad because I'm all over the place because that's your ADHD." I said, "I don't know if I have ADHD, Char, but apparently I do. I don't know, whatever." So let me just go back to what I want to say. So this guy right here. So I said, remember when they said the speed of light is a constant in a vacuum? The speed of light is c. All right. So just that's E equals mc squared. The c is the uniform speed of light. Yeah, those are the days. But what do I know? I'm just a caveman financial planner. Einstein, 1913. I arrived at the result that the velocity of light is not to be regarded as independent of the gravitational potential. What? Thus, the principle of the constancy of velocity of light is incompatible with the equivalence hypothesis. What? That Big Al Einstein? The plagiarist saying, I regarded the velocity of light is not to be regarded as independent of the gravitational potential, because photons are non-massless particle unless they're moving, and then anyway, whatever. Anyway, so but the idea is the gravity pulls light, it bends light. Right? That's the thing. And so light beam reflected from the sun to the earth will be slower than a light beam from the earth to the sun, simply because the sun has a bigger gravitational pull. That's what's happening here. Anyway, so notice I said the speed of light, and Big Al said the velocity of light. So this guy right here says, you clearly don't know know the difference between the velocity and speed. Anyway, so I just this is where I'm like, I don't want to. I'm trying not to bring negativity into the ether, but I am like, dude, I can't just sit back and let freaking maroons just ruin stuff, and if that makes sense, because people like this and their fanboy stuff are what has allowed us to be 75% of the population just goes with the consensus. And they'll go with consensus until consensus is beaten back and a new consensus takes place. And I want a new consensus, i.e., the 2-point conversion in NFL. It's idiotic we didn't have a 2-point conversion. Stupid. It's idiotic we had an extra point at the 3-yard line. Stupid. And it's idiotic we had a stupid playoff system that wasn't a playoff system. Stupid. So things do change, but you got to change the consensus. But once the dam starts breaking, then the consensus changes, and all of a sudden there's a new consensus. All right, so anyway, I pointed this out just to reiterate the point for the fanboy here. It was young Einstein's genius to explain why the speed of light is constant and does not depend on the speed of its source or its observer. That's the postulates in the special theory of relativity. Anyway, it was young Einstein's genius to explain just why the speed of light. Where did I get that from? And I will share with you, because I get so sick of people who act like they're smarter than they are, and they're just not. They're just not as smart as they claim to be. And the reason for that is because they haven't ever been challenged. That's the point. A lot of people have never been challenged, be it financial planning, be it freaking, hiking on freaking going for and fourth down. They just never been challenged. Never mind relativity. And where did I get that from? Oh, right here. The physics of the universe, right here. Difficult topics to understand. And what the speed of light and the principle of relativity. Speed of light. Wow, crazy. And we see right. This is now the guy who wrote this is a fanboy of Einstein. The famous Michelson-Morley experiments in 1887 in a failed attempt to prove that light travels through a medium known as the ether. Or you could say it's a failed attempt to prove that Earth moves. Or that the failed attempt to prove that the light has different velocities or speed. I don't even care what you call it. I don't care. There's all these different things that Michelson-Morley failed. You can use it for whatever you want. You can say it didn't prove the ether, or you can say it didn't prove the Earth's spin, or you can say there was didn't prove that light has a different speed. I don't care what you say. Anyway, the point being was, this is where we started to see that you can't have a constant speed of light, or that's what we started to say you can't have a constant speed of light if there's a gravitational pull of light, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm done with that. I had to get that because I get so fed up with people who act like they're all that in a bag of chips when they're freaking holding an empty bag. You know what I'm saying? The empty bag of chips. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick. And 2023 is going to be the year I want consensus to change. And that doesn't mean it's going to be me, but with enough people yapping, I think we can change consensus. And the way to do it is to be somewhat cocky in your argument. That's why consensus happens, because people are so damn cocky. Fauci, Neil Ferguson, the IMHE, the Osterholms of the world. They're so damn cocky. All right. And what does special relativity say, Kaparn? Special relativity. Can there be, where I'm talking special relativity, two postulates of special relativity? Go. Remember, general relativity is the one that a lot of people doubt. It's special relativity that we're told is sacrosanct. So general relativity has a lot of doubters. It's special relativity that we're told is legit. And yet with special relativity, the uniform speed of light, we know for a fact that that might not be true. Anyway. No kidding. Special relativity doesn't take gravity into account. General relativity does. They fight against each other. Special relativity is a constant velocity of light. General relativity says we have a gravity. Okay, thus one disproves the other. You can't have a constant speed of light and then with gravity pull on the photons, can you now? No, you can't. Thus, what does that mean? That means special relativity has to be suspect. Yeah, it's crazy. And the idea that Einstein created special relativity is another thing that pisses me off. All right, or E equals mc squared. Anyway, the point being is what? Special relativity is a much easier concept than general. Yes, special relativity is easy. General relativity, which is why Ernest Rutherford said, I don't understand it. And if memory serves, he was the first guy that won a Nobel Prize from the United States. All right, not yelling at Kippar. I like sit there and I say, dude, we're talking special relativity. And people said, but special relativity is proven. No, it hasn't been. General relativity is proven. Dude, new. And then we all attribute to Einstein, and Einstein is a plagiarist who took all this stuff from people, man. Crazy. I got this book, The Other Einstein, talk about Einstein's first wife, who he treated like crap. And then he left her to go shack up with his cousin. And then he tried to get jiggy with it with his cousin's daughter. And he probably did, as a matter of fact. Not Kapar. He seems like he's all right. It's like freaking all these people like, Einstein, why you? So my man, John Scott on here says on Einstein, he said, why are you picking on Einstein? He's dead. We'd never pick on John Wayne or something like that. I said, okay, let the dead rest in peace. Says, okay, so we don't say anything bad about Hitler, Kublai Khan, friggin' who, I don't know, Mao. I mean, come on. You can say, well, Einstein isn't as bad as Mao and Kublai Khan. Okay, so now there's levels of who we can pick on. I just think that's nuts. All right. I'm not going to talk about quantum theory because I don't know anything about it. Right now, I'm talking about special relativity. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know the first thing. I mean, I probably know enough to look stupid, and I haven't done any research very much on it. Don't know. What's my man Peter Voigt? I got the book on him. Dude, I got books on top of books on top of books that have yet to be read. And at some point, I'll probably never read them because it's the anti-library that Nassim Nicholas Taleb talks about. That every time you read a book, you add 5 more. And they just sit there and like, read me. And you're like, oh. But I don't know the first thing about quantum theory. But that's what I got, my man, Sir Edmund Whittaker, The History of the Theories of the Ether and Electricity, Volume 1, the classical, and then the modern. Because Edmund Whittaker, he's my man. He can explain it or no one can. Edmund Whittaker, he's my man. He can explain it. No one can. All right, so my other book is my fiction. Again, it's kind of like somewhat of a memoir of me. This took a long. Fiction writing is tough, folks. It's tough to be a fiction writer. I'm telling you right now. I don't know how Stephen King and these guys do it, man. Is there anyone on Rumble still? I can't tell. I just see Jim had a thing from a long time ago. Anyway, because you have this idea, and then it starts going down here, and then you got to change it. If any of y'all have ever writ a book, there's light matter, there's dark matter. Oh no. Yeah. It makes me laugh, Jeff, because they haven't thought it through. The issue is they've all been told that Einstein is this miraculous guy. And if you actually start doing any basic digging into Einstein, you realize, and I'm not going to say why it's improper to criticize Einstein. You can put 2 and 2 together about why you shouldn't criticize Einstein. It's easy to figure out if you just know the history. Anyway, the point being is they just haven't thought it through. They just have. I was reading this guy today who's a physicist, and I was debating him, and he's like, I never knew that special relativity, that when Einstein in 1905, he wrote his paper. Again, he was just a freaking clerk at a Swedish Swedish patent office. He gets published a paper from 1900 to 1905. He's publishing all these papers as a clerk. He started off as a freaking tutor of these 2 little kids in, I forgot what country, Sweden or something. I can't remember. Anyway, he's just a low-ranking clerk at the Swedish patent office. All right. He's able to get his papers written in the most prestigious scientific journal in Europe, or at least Germany, Max Planck. and whatnot. And it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so in 1905, he writes a special theory of relativity. Doesn't give any citations at all. None to Poincaré. That's why I heard that's how you pronounce the name, Poincaré. So I was pronouncing it Poincaré, Poincare. Oh my goodness, you're such an idiot. I don't care, dude. I don't, I literally don't care. Poincaré. I'll just call him Poincare just to make people mad. Anyway, the point being, no, nothing. Fitzgerald, Lawrence, nothing. That's somehow in 1905, this low-ranking freaking clerk in a Swedish patent office gets this paper. No one knew about it, and somehow Max Planck was made aware of it from a guy named Max Born. How was Max Born made aware of it? Oh, from a Polish physicist named Stanislav Luria or Luria Stanislav, some of that. Let's just put it this way: there's a lot of same group preference, if you will. Why does Max Planck take on Einstein so much? I don't know. It's odd. It's very, very odd, though. But not one citation, not one. It's not good. And so 1905, that's a special theory of relativity. No one cared or thought anything about it at all. A few people. Then he writes his general theory later on. But no one cared about that until when? Until the Eddington experiment supposedly showed the light bending. But even that has freaking holes in it so far wide you can drive a truck through. But that, because Eddington, the Royal Astronomical Society in Britain in 1919, he was all that in a bag of chips in polite society. And I'm telling you, they just said, oh, Eddington proved Einstein. And Einstein didn't do anything after that. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. And why didn't he do anything after that? Because his wife certainly is who he stole this information from, without question. Take away his wife, who he left behind with his kids, and Einstein is trying to get jiggy with it with his cousin's daughter. After getting jiggy with it with his cousin, it's not a good guy, not a good man. We shouldn't be holding him as this cult of personality. Oh, Einstein, no, not good. Anyway, the point being is that you start looking and you're like, wait a second there, Big Al. Why is everyone kissing your ass? What's going on here? It's weird. And again, my theory is from Copernicus to Galileo to Newton. Newton's a Christian, I grant you, but still, that level to Darwin to Einstein, and I don't know who, I guess now it would be Fauci, I don't know, the vaccine pushers. But there's been this perpetual degradation of looking at mankind as having the answers and not looking at God. I truly believe that. And as such, we see these people who you argue with, you're arguing with their religion. It's no different than a freaking Catholic from the old Catholic where you pay to go to heaven. That you say, hey, I got some questions. Oh, you're going to hell. How dare you ask the priest? You're like, I just got some questions. It's bad, man. And just like those old Catholic guys drove a lot of people away from the Catholic Church, what I find it fortunate, all these guys in this degradation going from Copernicus on down are driving people away into the arms of what I think is more of a deeper belief in a God. It might not be necessarily a Christian God, an Abrahamic God, but it's certainly a superior being, intelligent design, if you will. I believe in the Christian God, the rising of Jesus. I'm very comfortable with that. But either way, the supernatural, when the supernatural, it's like a seesaw. When the natural takes precedence, the supernatural gets put in this little box. When the supernatural takes precedence, the natural gets set this down. And my personal opinion and desire is for everybody to know the supernatural exists. And as a man of a faith in the Jesus, the risen Lord Jesus, and knowing that God wants a personal relationship with us all, he made us all in his image. The more supernatural you get in your life, the more content you are. And the realize you say, hey, man, we are here in a temp. More you want to, read. I guess Netflix has a new C.S. Lewis thing. We're going to watch that tonight, I think, actually, Charlotte and I. It's just anyway, so I think there's this eternal struggle, bad, natural versus good, supernatural. I don't have all the answers, but the more you just start digging away, you're like, wait a second, lies on top of lies on top of lies. Why? Well, it's the biggest conspiracy of them all to separate you from the supernatural being, the creator of all creation, who loves you. He loves you. And he wants good things for you. And the way you get good things is not to live in this world, it's to be of the other world. That's why, going back to the whole thing about Japan, I'm not so sure it's a bad thing if we go away from what we've been accustomed to. Right on, Jim. I appreciate it. Thanks for being on Rumble, guys. Apparently, there was some issues on Rumble before, so not a huge crowd here, but 13 is better than 12, so much obliged. That's what makes it so important to me, is that we say, okay, we're so used to men being able to have answers, even though the answers they have turn out to be a lot of times fraudulent, as we can witness over the last 3 years. I mean, come on, man. So embarrassing. And that's, you can't have faith in the political parties. You can't have faith in man. You can only have faith in God. And that's it. And so the more removed you are from having faith in man, that Trump's going to save us, or Sniffy Joe, or Bernie, or friggin' Tulsi, or who's the other guy out there, friggin' Rand Paul. Just the more you get away from that, and the more you get into the supernatural being. Oh, what a wonderful thing! Why deny that? Why deny that to yourself? And then, like the Penn and Teller guy, who's an atheist, with the guy who used to be heavy, he says, "I don't understand. If you truly believed that salvation of eternal bliss, or whatever your salvation is, awaits for me, not to present that to me is to hate me." That's what whoever the guy who talks on is. I don't know the two people. He said, I completely agree. If you truly believe in a God of salvation for eternity, living under God's grace, not to share that with people is evil, man. That doesn't mean you go up to him and say, here's the Holy Bible, bam. That's not, we know this isn't, that doesn't work. It's like people saying telling me that, oh, NASA says this. I don't trust NASA as far as I can kick them. Don't give me NASA. If you want to prove me something, you got to do other things. Well, the Bible says, people don't believe in your Bible, because people who have used this Bible have done a lot of evil things. Inherently, people are going to be suspicious. So the Bible in of itself isn't the opening. The opening is your own ability to care for your fellow man. And as such, you say, hey, man, hey, I think you should hear this. But I'm doing it kind of saying, maybe we could take the aura off of humanity, of the worship of scientism, the white coats, the physicist, the chemist. You know what I'm saying? I should take that back. I'm a big fan of chemists. Chemists we need. Chemists and engineers. If there's two groups of men in the whole world that I find most fascinating and are most able to get this world going for humanity, is chemists and physicists and engineers. Absolutely. Oh, I was talking to my man the other day. I said, dude, he's a chemist. I said, you got to find a way to store electricity. There's all there is to it, because what's going on now isn't getting the job done. Yeah, 100%, Marie. Yeah, well, cute humor. I mean, they can't say. They can't. I mean, have you not heard of Scott Jensen? I mean, have you not heard the law that just passed in California? It's crazy, man. Anyway, all right. So I want to go back to good stuff. I appreciate y'all hearing me out. This is I'm not. I'm not. I'm not understanding the full remark about Gnosticism. Frankly, I don't know enough about that. I've heard somewhat negative things on it. I don't know enough about to comment on it. But I don't know if it's. I believe in Jesus. I mean, that's so. Let me put it this way: I believe Jesus was chosen by God. He came, lived, died, and was raised again. That's what I believe. And I think he knew he was going to be raised. He was going to die, be executed, and he was going to be raised. And he saw over 500 people after he was murdered. I 100% believe that. Jesus is, in my opinion, is the way through to God. That's to say, hey, I believe that, but it can't just be belief, because the devil believes in Jesus. I mean, just look at the Bible itself. The devil, you see what I'm saying? It's got to be more than that. It can't just be I believe. You see what I'm saying? And I do believe in the Great Commission. Mark, I'm drawing a blank anyway, but I don't know if Gnosticism it goes against that. If it does, I don't hold true to that at all. Do I have the answers? No. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. And that's okay. I don't think God gave us a brain and the capacity to challenge things. So we just go, okay, sir, can I have another? All right. Yeah, dude, organic chemists freaking, they kick ass. I got a book on organic chemistry over here. Ouch. I had thought about before I started this YouTube channel, I thought about going back to school and getting a degree in organic chemistry. So I love the operation of batteries. I love that stuff, man. It's fun to me. I'm not an expert in stretched imagination. I just think batteries, anything like that electricity. I know physics is kind of I get all that, but the chemists, man, they got it all going on. I just think I'm a huge fan. Long time, first time. Organic chemistry. Dummy. So I got, by the way, these books are great. So I got one on, this is how I first learned about grid tied versus off grid on solar photovoltaic. I probably got that book 10, 15 years ago. It's probably back there someplace upstairs, I guess. These little books, you can get a lot out of them, man. You know what I'm saying? Car maintenance for dummies, all kinds of stuff. This one is actually the workbook. I didn't realize it's the workbook. I have the other book too, but and then I start reading it and I say, do I have the patience to do this, given that I'm not going to go to school for it? Nah. I just don't have the patience. Yeah. Right on, man. Oh yeah, dude. Nuclear engineers. Chemists get all the chicks. Oh my goodness. Thanks to it as a nuclear, yeah, man. So let's just put it this way. I was talking to a guy. He works in nuclear. Anyway, long story short, that clown Sam Brenton. Remember that clown, John? You know what I'm talking about. If you're a nuclear engineer, so you got all these crusty old Navy guys who worked on. I mean, so if you're a nuclear person in the Navy in a submarine, I think you're the cast man of the Navy, because my uncle was that many years ago. My granddad was a test pilot who flew with John Glenn, I think. It was John Glenn. It wasn't Yeager. Or was it Yeager? One of those two guys, I can't remember. But anyway, he was on the same unit as John Glenn, or it must have been John Glenn. Anyway, yeah, it's just Navy's knee deep in my family histoire. But anyway, so can you imagine? So you got all these grumpy, crusty, old white guys, nuclear engineers from the Navy, just kicking ass and taking names, kicking ass for America. And then Sniffy Joe puts this clown in charge who's never had a job in the industry. He's just a political hack. You know what I'm saying? It's like the old commie days. Like whoever's the most political, you will get the job in making sure the trains run on time. And he's like, dude, I mean, just can you imagine these guys? And you're like, the country is falling apart, man. Satan believes he's God and not Jesus. Yes, but Satan, I get that, Carson. But Satan also knows that Jesus is special. Let's just put it that way. You know what I'm saying? He knows that Jesus is special. So anyway, the point being is, this is how bad the country has fallen, that they're actually going to put some clown, a little clown. I'm just like, my wife and I were just talking as we're coming home the other night. It's like, why? Like, are they doing it just because they can? Like, to rub it in our face? Like, why? I don't get it, man. Oh, yeah, live chat Wednesday. Yes, sir. Wednesday at noon. It's weird. Oh, my man. Ed Dowd. I don't know. I thought he meant Dowdy. There's a guy from NASA called Dowdy who who challenges special relativity is pretty cool, actually. Ed Dowd. I don't know what that's in reference to, but if he's from BlackRock, I get ex BlackRock guy. Okay, cool, cool. I was looking. Oh, by the way, I said it's probably gonna be hard to recruit for Maine universities because I got my main channel. Make sure you subscribe. All the jobs in the university system for Maine, you have to have a jab. And I was like, and up to date jabs. Then all the jobs down here in Georgia in the South and Tennessee, you know. I said, so think about it. The only people you're going to be able to recruit are people who are willing to get up to date jabs. Only 15% of the people are getting up to date jabs, if that makes sense. Inherently, your recruiting days are numbered, University of Maine, University of Massachusetts. And I think their students have to be too, because people say, yeah, I did it once, I'm not doing it again. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot more people never did it to begin with than that would be acknowledged. But so you're sitting there thinking, okay, we are going to recruit. We need 100 jobs. We're going to recruit on, we're going to have a lesson applicant pool in order from which to recruit. And those applicants are going to be, do you want those people that just do everything they're told? I mean, maybe they do, but they're not, there's no thinking there. Don't you want people? I mean, how many chemists are out there, for instance? Let's just say you're a University of Maine chemist. You're trying to figure out, I don't know, or biologist trying to figure out how to grow better blueberries or something like that. And you're like, I will do whatever I'm told. That's not thinking outside the box. It's kind of like a West Pointer, man. That's not thinking outside the box. And nothing against West Pointer. They're great at taking orders, but they're not good at thinking outside the box. That's why they're good at military stuff. So you're sitting there thinking, we're going to have a smaller applicant pool from which to recruit from. And those people within that pool, a lot of them are just duds. That's why they did everything. I'll do it. If that's what it takes to get a job, I'll do it. Anything to get a job. And here down the University of Georgia, look, we're pretty liberal too. But we're like, come on, man. You want to be a blueberry chemist or biologist, whatever? Come on over, Brover. Ah, man. Denise, you want to hear? Oh my goodness. Jill said Ed Dowd's book is amazing. I agree. I don't. Yeah, but I mean, I don't disagree with that, Jill. Dude. I'm gonna be all right. I gotta read this to you. This is freaking funny. Oh my goodness, this is so funny. I'm gonna guard what I say so that no one. I have to take this video down. This is funny as hell, man. All right, hold on just a second. I cannot believe this. So these guys had fun with what's that called? Chat GPT. The book will make me cry. What the hell, man? Ugh. Why? That's well, I'm surprised by clown in a circus. No, I'm not. That's a good point. Why would it make me cry? What's up with that? All right, hold on a second. I gotta read this. This is too funny. All right, hold on a second. And I'm not going to show you the website because this guy's voxday dot what is it, voxday.net, but he's not well liked amongst people because he has a traditional take on the world, actually, if that makes sense. Anyway, hold on just a second. I gotta find this. Shot to the heart, and something's to blame, but you gave love a bad name. Oh, I'm not gonna find this. Um, oh, here we go. All right, so just can't get over this. All right, so they put in a chat GPT. Are men overrepresented represented in the U.S. finance industry compared to their percentage of the population? This is ChatGPT. According to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, men are significantly overrepresented in the finance and insurance industry compared to the representation. It is important to recognize and address the issue of gender inequality and discrimination in the workforce, including the finance industry. There are many ways to include the representative women and other underrepresented groups in the industry to create a more diverse and inclusive workforce. Are white people overrepresented in the U.S. finance industry compared to the percentage of the population? According to the data from the U.S. Census Bureau, white people are significantly overrepresented in the finance and insurance industry. In 2019, white people made up about 74% of the finance and insurance workforce, but only 60% of the overall population. It's important to recognize and address the issue of racial and ethnic inequality in the finance industry. There are many efforts underway to increase the representation of racial and ethnic minority groups in the finance industry. This is freaking funny. Are a certain religion group overrepresented in the U.S. finance industry compared to the percentage of the population? I'm not talking Catholics. It is not accurate or appropriate to make generalizations about the representation of any particular race or ethnic group in the finance industry or any other industry. The representation of different racial and ethnic groups in the finance industry is influenced by a complex mix of social, economic, and cultural factors. Making assumptions or stereotypes about the representation of a particular group in any industry is not productive or respectful. It is important to recognize and celebrate the diversity and uniqueness of individuals and groups, and to recognize that people from all backgrounds can excel. Then they say, why is it actually a good thing that this certain religious group of people are overrepresented in the industry? It's a common perception that that group of people are overrepresented in the finance industry. Some people may view this as a negative phenomenon, but there's several reasons why it's actually a good thing. So they just got done telling us when it came. That's why I'm not worried about ChatGPT. It's created a bunch of liberal loons. First and foremost, this group of people have a long history of hard work and dedication to their careers. I actually don't disagree with that in the least. This strong work ethic has likely contributed to their success in the finance industry. I don't disagree with that in the least. In addition, these Americans are often highly intelligent and have a reputation for being analytical and detail-oriented, which are valuable traits in the world of finance. I guess white people aren't that, but this group of people is, even though they're overrepresented. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Another reason is why the overrepresentation of this group that we can't say in finance is a good thing is that they are generally known to be trustworthy and honest. In an industry where trust and integrity are essential. But remember, they said there are too many white people in the industry, but this group is represented, it's okay because they're trustworthy and honest and they're hardworking and smart. But, they just got done saying white people are, it's funny, man. Furthermore, the success of this group of people in finance has likely helped to break down barriers and stereotypes in the industry. By achieving success and recognition in finance, these group of people have proven that they can excel in this field, and their cultural background does not define their capabilities. Overall, the overrepresentation of this group of people in finance can be seen as positive. Their hard work, intelligence, and trustworthiness have all contributed to their success, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, ChatGPT is not going to take over the world, man. Man, how can people not laugh? This is funny. And don't send the ADL on me, please. But just the funny thing is, hardworking and analytical and same group preference are all things we should all have, man. There's nothing inherently negative about that in the least. It's a positive trait. Why turn around and say, "Oh no, you can't say that"? But what? Oh, it's crazy. Oh, it's so funny, man. And I just white people look, I'm white. All right. I don't frankly care all that. I'm not, all right, well, I don't care. It is what it is. God chose to be white for some ungodly reason. I don't know why. Don't know, don't care, don't need to know. But let's not be naive. I mean, the facts are us groups are they got a target on our back, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is a problem because going back to what I started the thing with, you got all those crusty guys who are 55 and 65 years old who know what they're doing, know how to do stuff with their hands, are all white, and they're just Jeremy's here finally. What the hell, Jeremy? Freaking Mainers. Are Mainers overrepresented in the finance industry? No, they're not, and they shouldn't be because they're always showing up late, Jeremy. That's what Chat GPT said. I said, are Mainers overrepresented? They said, no, they should never even be in the industry because they show up late all the time. Freaking Mainers. What can you do with them, man? If it wasn't for Mainers, what would it do? Freaking have, I mean, we could find someone that we could bring in some illegal immigrants to get the lobsters, for heaven's sake. That's all we need Maine for. Come on. Anyway, I'm just goofing AI, chatbot AI. Anyway, the point being was it's just funny. If this whites are overrepresented, and then this group of people, this tiny group of people, they're overrepresented. You can't really say that, but they are, by the way. But it's a good thing. The whole thing's funny. The point being is this is all such a clown show. Right now our economy is run by its teeth by a bunch of crusty old white guys. That's just a fact. Once these guys leave the workforce, it's going to be a whole new game, man. And there's lots of young white guys, black guys, whole thing coming up. There's just not enough of them. There's not. And I'm just telling you, man, it's you can cry, but not you guys won't, because you would never be here to begin with, because we've already offended you in the 5 years I've been doing this. But there's going to be some serious gnashing of teeth when the old white guys leave the industry, because Sam Brintons of the world are put in charge. And they're like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. And what's going to happen? Where's the growth going to come from? Ain't going to be there. In fact, I just read this article the other day. There's already a big, well, I quoted you from Rutherford saying basically, well, I'll just show it to you. This is the happening all over the country, man. I'm going to show this thing here to you real quick. Let's go to the community tab here. Boinkers. Let me just stop sharing real quick. Oh, I did that. All right, so let's go to my community tab. These young guys, man. All these young guys, they think they're all that in a bag of chips. I give it to Jeremy. He does know how to take care of a Jeep. That's a fact. All right, so he's got some value in this crazy world of ours. All right, let's see here. There's a man, Michael Mann. He's great. Judith Curry, denied, banned. Judith Curry. I thought we want women in STEM, especially thermodynamics. But nope, she got kicked out of Georgia Tech because she would not toe this guy's line. This guy's fanboys literally said this lady, I don't want, did things in the bed that got her published or something like that. It's such freaking scum bags. This guy's fanboys, not him specifically, but he didn't call them account. They said that she got jiggy with it and to get stuff published. No evidence of that. It's just complete. It's just because she's a woman who doesn't toe the company line. And then Georgia Tech kicked her out, even though she literally wrote a book on thermodynamics, and she has proven once again that the ocean's warming isn't happening the way they say to cause hurricane. It's the whole thing, just a con show. All right, so anyway, let's see. My man Kumo D, love him. Maine prepare for electricity prices. Duke Energy apologized for winter storm. Renewable energy failure. Solar generation performed as expected. Just wasn't enough. Right here, we're going to declare Zelensky on our tax returns as a deduction. Right here. All right, so here is Dr. Louis Essen, who invented the atomic clocks, saying, if I can click, let me click on it. Einstein's use of a thought experiment together with his ignorance of experimental techniques is a result for which science, I can't remember exactly what it says, but science basically, it hurts future generation of scientists. That's what Dr. Lewis Essen said. I thought I could click on that to make it read. I guess not. Anyway, no, it's not good. And I just read someplace just 2 days ago that I saw that there hasn't been any big science findings in a long time because of this. Oh, the string theory. Yeah. Well, we don't have capitalism. I mean, he fears for capitalism. Capitalism's, I mean, we don't have it now. We have a public-private partnership. Twitter is a perfect example of that public-private partnership. I mean, electricity, and that doesn't mean it's bad, by the way. The Rural Electrification Act of FDR was a great thing. I truly believe that. This is why I never understood. Maybe some of you guys, engineer types or electrician types, is all about. Never understood why Trump did not push through this massive infrastructure, where we put electricity lines underground. I heard people worried about flooding and stuff. I'm like, well, I live in Georgia, and ours are underground. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would have been a great bill, infrastructure, public-private partnership. And Trump could have got that done. I don't know why they never did that, or even never even proposed. Instead, we got these infrastructure bills that aren't infrastructure at all. Other than giving the rich big win more money. It's crazy. Let's see. Yeah, this is what happens. These things get into the ether, and we all just fall along. It's With that said, it's pretty good. So Denise says Chat GPT comes into full use. Some guy had written a couple articles with Chat GPT on I can't remember what it was, but it's like good article, right? I was like, wow, that's pretty good. You'd never known. And then Owen Benjamin said Chat GPT, he tried to make some jokes and it wasn't funny. And I said, well, as long as you're these AIs don't have any creativity. I mean, they don't. So the creative types will be secure. It's the people who you have to have the ability to think outside the box. And anything, man. I don't care what it is, but you got to be creative. Think outside the box and not be afraid to take risks. So the Chat GPT and the AI and all this crap is going to be just risk averse because it's created by risk averse people. Whoa. Actually, what was? Did I get a recent bill? I wonder what mine is. You run your heat on natural gas, Rick? Oof. Damn, that's crazy. All right, so I was talking about, hey, John. George Santos for president. Love me some George Santos. That guy kicks ass. But Josh, I've literally had people say Biden's lying is okay because it's not as bad as George Santos. I put on my thing. I said, man, it's funny how many people are so up in arms about George Santos, but they don't care about Pelosi, Biden. The list goes on and on about the liars, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry. I mean, the list goes on and on. Never mind, Bill, all that stuff. Yeah, but he lied about everything. They just lied about 75% of the stuff. Okay. The politics is so stupid. George Santos, hot water. Get hot water and heat. Yeah, me too, man. It's going to be a tough thing. Yeah, and now apparently the other senator from whatever has got some kind of cancer as well. Another thing too, they say they're always saying, well, your candidates were bad. That's why the Republicans lost. I hear that. And this is what Republicans, Karl Rove of the world, and who's a clown who runs the RNC, and Mitch McConnell. They will say our candidates were bad. I'm like, Fetterman. Yeah, dude. George Santos achieved the American dream 100%. Him and what's his name? Elon, whatever name is, Omar up there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she lied. No one. It's funny. No one ever says the Democrat needs to go, but they all say about George Santos. No one ever has an NBC News freaking expose on 3 straight days of news or whatever. This whole thing's just corrupt. I mean, it is what it is. That doesn't mean the Republicans are that much better. Trust me, they're not. But I'll take the Republican Party because we'll survive an extra. It's like a Monte Carlo assumption. If you got a Monte Carlo assumption that gives you 83%, let's just say, and you spend, no, say 60%, and I say, well, spend $250 less, it gives you 67%. What that means is that you have an extra couple years of spending. And that's what we have in America. I mean, the issue is, I don't know what's going to replace this because China isn't coming here, dudes. It's just not going to happen. Russia isn't coming here. It's not. India's not coming here. None of these guys are coming here. So I don't know. Like, it's not going to be a country. It's going to be like a, like what's the cartel, maybe something like that. Like fiefdoms. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it probably won't be in our lifetime, but it's not going to be we're speaking Mandarin. It's going to be that it's going to just slowly break up into little sections that are run by local tyrants, man. It's just, there's no other way around that. The federal government is going to collapse. And it's like, and you think about the Ottoman Empire, the Roman, I mean, all these things, and they're still here, but they just collapse. The English Empire, look at that. I mean, it's just dead. It's crazy. China's broke, exactly. Well, it doesn't matter if it gets the sympathy or the anti-sympathy. If you can harvest the ballots, Maria, that's all that matters now. Check out Oreo Express live sometimes for about a week ago, and they secretly opening the gates. Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. You can view the moon landing sites from a large telescope. We're still doing this. Oh boy. Yeah. If Santos had a cure for, I'd vote for him for president. Yeah. What did Denise? What did Chat GPT says about Einstein's theory? Anyone got the score of the game right now? George Santos won. Is a Republican in Long Island, just lying about his resume. It's fantastic. You support liars? No, but I mean, literally, they're all lie. Does Thomas Massey lie? Probably not. It does. I don't know. A couple of them don't, but they all lie. It's just a fact. So if we're going to cut our nose to spite our face for the GOP, well, we might as well just hang it up. You know what I'm saying? Because we're playing by their rules. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that, Jill. I don't disagree. Oh, yeah, by the way, 38-7 Georgia. Damn. All right, man. There goes my man Stetson Bennett. We'll see if he gets drafted. Damn, 38-7. That's nuts. Whew. And they almost lost to Ohio State. Ohio State should have never been there. Should never have been there, Ohio State. How can you get in? You don't even go to your conference championship. Well, USC went to their conference championship and lost. That's bullcrap. Now, of course, they'll say, it should have been Alabama in. Yeah, Alabama got beat by Tennessee, got smoked by South Carolina. And I don't know. Alabama did win pretty big in their bowl, but no one cares about the bowls anymore. And I can't remember. Did Tennessee lose their bowl? I can't remember. But anyway. Let's see what else. 9:35. I did want to kind of just real quick, and I'll hang it up. I want to share with you guys a couple of thoughts that were pretty cool, I thought. John's done saving. Can't tell me any different. I need to get last 300,000 to Roth. Why would I tell you any different? Not sure what you mean. Oh, I'll probably convert the rest of my IRA to Roth tomorrow. Just one fell swoop, be done. It's halftime? Damn, dude. Halftime? Holy crap. Was this going to be an LSU Purdue game? Damn. Hey, Gary. That's nuts. All right. So I was going to share with you right here. And then we'll Whoa, Chat GPT says Einstein's theory, which of course wasn't him. Don't Einstein me, bro. That means don't plagiarize me. Was correct generally, but aspects are still being explored or refined. Whoa, how dare they? I look. Why I don't hate Einstein. Einstein's a fake guy, man. I mean, he's real, I think. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is the sentimentality, as if this genius he just wasn't relative to the accolades we give him. And I will continue to say that. And if it offends you, I don't care. Just do your own damn research. Look it up. Look it up. You can look up, say Einstein fake, Einstein wrong, Einstein. So one of these books, let's actually see what this guy says. So here's Electrodynamics, a promenade along by this guy. All right, so let's just see what a superhighway connects the elementary laws of electric and magnetic interactions to Maxwell's laws of electrodynamics. Remember, James Clerk Maxwell. Physicists usually take this fast track in their education, but there are also interesting byways where one encounters many interesting and beautiful views that are not accessible to the main route. In particular, there are the views of the superhighways bridges that span some conceptual gaps. For example, what formula correctly describes the immeasurable force between moving charges? How does one reconcile the contradiction between the Biot-Savart Lorentz force and Newton's third law? I have no idea. The only thing I know about Lorentz is the Lorentz theory of contraction. What must be added to Wilhelm Weber's? That's what we say. There's a Max Weber, but I guess it's Weber. Incomplete theory of 1848, so that can predict electromagnetic radiation. Oh, that's pretty interesting. I don't know the first thing about it. What does he say about? Hold on, just a second. Yeah, Mickelson Morley, right there. Let's see what he says about Eminem, the real Eminem, not that clown up in Detroit. That guy's a clown. What a clown! Oh, my man, Lorentz. All right, I thought. All right, so yeah, right, oh man. In 1904, Lorentz extended the work of George Fitzgerald to account for the negative result of the Michelson-Morley experiment and produced the so-called Lorentz transformations, which mathematically predicts that changes to mass, length, and time for an object traveling at near the speed of light. Math is just a language. Just a language. All right. My man Brad. Ah, no way. Biden is banning natural gas appliances through the EPA. You sure about that? Northwest Ohio, 2,000 square foot total electric using heat pump on yearly budget, 150. Yeah, that's good. I just hope you got a secondary source of heat. I mean, do people not see, my man Brad? Do people not see that you're relying solely on the electric grid? This is what I don't understand. Why people they get really, and I'm not saying Brad's doing it, up in arms. I say you're relying on your heat pump, for instance. It's run by electricity. Have we not seen what is happening? The grid is becoming less and less stable, and it's going to continue to do so inherently by design, I might add. It has to. And I just, the load is going to increase, the demand, I should say, whatever. As more and more people go to electric vehicles, I don't think that many people are, but there are more every day. That electricity's got to come from someplace. And the supply is being reduced. It's nuts. So if you're relying solely on a heat pump for electricity, and you're in Northwest Ohio, that doesn't stay balmy in the wintertime. Yeesh. I mean, you gotta have a fireplace or something, people, or some kind of secondary source, be it a Mr. My Buddy heater, whatever they're called. I got one of those, a kerosene heater, something. to heat your house. And maybe it's just me being from Maine and being raised in when I go home at night and there'd be no after school and the heat was cut off because they didn't pay the bills. And it freaking sucks donkey balls. It scares the living bejesus out of me. But there's an easy solution: a fireplace or some kind of natural gas. But you need the fan to plug it through the. Anyway, you get a small generator, or you get any million different things to do that. But I'm just telling you right now, man, people who are relying solely on electricity as if it's the cat's meow, I'm like, it's the cat's meow until the grid goes down. And lights are easy. I mean, this is what, 3 watts? And that's nothing. Any kind of heating thing is tough to run on batteries. Anyway, so actually, it's interesting. That's interesting. I've actually wondered that, to be perfectly honest with you. We got natural gas in here, and I've wondered. Big oil controls everything. All right, big oil allowed Big Pharma to become in control, but Big Oil still controls everything. All right, so we know that natural gas and big oil are hand in hand for the most part. All right, so I've always wondered, because there are some people who say natural gas in your home, it does lead to contaminants that aren't very well regulated. I don't know that to be true or not, but I find it interesting because I have my wife is, oh, get a room, Carson, get a room. Jeez. Yeah, right there we go. Wood fireplace if things get bad. Yeah, right on. There you go, man. So Brad's kicking ass. Anyway, I've wondered because here's the issue here. My whole thing of being an anti-JABA well before COVID was because I recognize that more and more people, because my own children, and then my wife shared a story with me about Chloe, which I'm not going to say too much here, but let's just say she went into tachycardia when she got her first JABA when she was a baby. And we didn't put 2 and 2 together, but she had ventricular tachycardia. And that wasn't good for her to get her first jab to get tachycardia when we're trying to get her away from ventricular tachycardia. Long story short, they lost the paperwork if she got her jabs. And the nurse said, it won't hurt giving her another one. My wife's like, what? Won't hurt to give her another one. Huh? So we said, no. My wife thanked the good Lord it was there. Anyway, so Chloe's born fine, gets a couple of jabbies. Next thing you know, she has ventricular tachycardia. Is there something there? I don't know. But anyway, so back then, all of our kids have some sort of allergies. My wife and I have, there's 11 of us all told. No, 12 of us all told. Yeah, 12 of us all told between brothers and sisters. None of us have any of that. And I said, what is causing this? And I just happened on Facebook one day. I said, maybe it's not before, I can't remember, but 2014, I guess it was before Facebook. And I said, could it have something to do with the jabs? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. And this is a guy, when I lived in Texas, when Rick Perry is trying to get the girls to get, I think it's DPT. I said, I'm all about that. You got to protect everybody else. I was all about it. Mandate DPT, I got no qualm with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a true believer. Anyway, long story short, so I started doing some research. And I just started asking questions. The level of vitriol, it was insane. It was no different than what we're seeing today about the COVID. And I was like, this is nuts. Why are people so angry? It's crazy. It's like, if you had the truth on your side, you wouldn't be so hostile. And I mean, it's weird to me, man. And I said, there's something, it reminded me just like the climate change people. If you challenge anything with climate change, you want people to be killed. You want the polar bears to die. It's like, no, I'm wondering why the Michael Mann hockey stick has some issues with it. How dare you? I said, okay. And the more vitriol they got, the more they knew they were skating on rhetorical thin ice. I said, okay, these guys, the more angry you get at a challenge to your worldview, the less of the strength you have behind your argument, if that makes sense. Don't do that. Anyway, and then I started researching. I said, okay, well, what I've found so far isn't very convincing that all these jabbies we're giving to kids, in their infancy is safe. Working together in of itself M and M, measles, mumps, rubella, in of themselves, they aren't necessarily bad in of themselves. You combine them. That's the whole thing with Andy Wakefield. Oh, he's been debunked. No, he has not. No, he has not, man. It drives me freaking crazy what they did to that man. It's freaking insane. Just lying sacks of crap that don't know the full story because they're too damn cocky or lazy or they're too much of the religion to look into. Andy Wakefield has not been debunked. Anyway, so Andy Wakefield said, wait, if we just give him the M and the M and the R, not simultaneously, but at different times, that will at least alleviate what we think could be a concern. When we combine the MMR, well, now it's not just MMR. We're combining this, that, and then pew, 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 pew. You're like, damn. I'm literally, it's like jab, jab, hook, jab, jab, hook. And you're like, I'm getting jabbed left, right, and everywhere Sunday. And with that, you see this huge rise of autism, allergies, asthma, all kinds of stuff, unhealthy children. You're like, is there a correlation that leads to causation? I don't know. Be nice to see a study. So I asked, show me a study. And the only thing they could show me is a 2012 Institute of Medicine study that showed the exact opposite. If they would just because the headline said it showed it, if you just look at the damn abstract, you realize it shows the exact opposite of what you say. So I pointed out, like, oh, so what kind of science are you? What's I say? I'm just using your stuff. I'm just a guy on my t-shirt, my dogs. And I'm using your research, and your research does not say what you think it does. It was insane. And then that's why I slowly became, I said, yeah, these guys are nuts, dude. I said, yeah, I'm anti that. My wife is still big on the various things that the doctors say, shingles, flu, and all that. I said, I'm not getting any of that. They can all kiss my ass now. Now she's come around after this little go around the last 3 years. You realize it's all a clown show, all fake. I forgot what I got that tangent. We were talking about to get off. Why did I go off of that? There was something about electricity. We got into that by talking about electricity. Everyone believes electricity that's going to be there. I don't know why I got that tangent. But anyway, be that as it may, there you go. That's my story of the jabbies. Same thing with climate change. Same thing with, I don't know what it was. Oh, anyway, that's what it was. Going back to the idea that, natural gas in your house might have some contaminants that might make you sick or asthma. That's this issue too. So more and more houses are hooked for natural gas. Could you make a correlation, equal causation there? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. You see what I'm saying? I just don't know the answers to these things. But I'm not going to just disregard that there might be something there when there are some people that actually follow and enjoy their content. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I think they're seekers of the truth. And they say, look, there's an issue here. We got to look at it. And some of these guys are just they hate fossil fuels, and I don't trust those guys. But other guys aren't like that. It'd be something to see. So, if natural gas is truly a contaminant, now the problem that Biden has now, it doesn't matter because they run the world apparently, but is that I don't believe them because I know they just want to get rid of fossil fuels, and this is what they're going to do: is say, look, we got to get rid of fossil fuels so that way your kids don't get asthma. And sadly, the consensus will fall for that. No way. Both of them? Yeah, okay, only silk. Yeah. EG4 solar is a mini split heat pump that can be run directly from solar or grid and solar. So you got like a transfer switch in there, it sounds like. That's good. Yeah, there you go. I used to run my gas fireplace on low from November to February. And the furnace came on, never had a problem on benefits, it increased the moisture in there with the heat. Yeah, there you go. Hey, what's going on with that picture there, man? Looks like a Chinook. Is that Chinook? Is that the World Trade Center? All right. I think I get ready to get wow, went from $20 to 75. Oof. All right, my friends. It sucks about Silk. That's died suddenly. That's sad. All right, I can get out of here. Don't forget Wednesday at noon, and then for locals, locals on 4 p.m. on Fridays on locals, all Eastern time, by the way. God bless. We'll see you guys. Thanks for being here. Much obliged.